Bulletproof, nothing to lose. Fire away, fire away. Okay, this guy is an accountant, but there's more to him than meets the eye, and he kills people, and he meets me, and I'm there, and J.K. Simmons is there, and it's really great, and you should go see it.
That's good. You should put
Nailed
that on the poster.
So, what really goes on when you're filming such intense fight scenes?
It was just sort of a lot of like technical work of trying to remember where you're supposed to go and what punch is supposed to go where and where you're supposed to shoot so you don't like shoot the stuntman accidentally. And you know, I'm prone to making mistakes like that, so I had to really go over it, really run it myself through it a couple of times. There were a lot of mistakes that I make constantly. I mean, they had cut them all out of the movie, fortunately. So there is a movie, a terrible movie about me,
Of just you going, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
me accidentally hitting people instead of hitting people on purpose. It was sort of a lot of like technical work of trying to remember where you're supposed to go and what punch is supposed to go where and where you're supposed to shoot so you don't like shoot the stuntman accidentally. And you know, I'm prone to making mistakes like that, so I had to really go over it, really run it myself through it a couple of times. But it was the fun part was really playing off Anna because her reaction to it was so like it wasn't just this tough guy action thing. It was also kind of leavened by her reactions and her acting, which made it more interesting.
My cat-like reflexes.
Exactly.
Was doing a great job.
There were a lot of mistakes that I make constantly. I mean, they had cut them all out of the movie, fortunately. So there is a movie, a terrible movie about me.
Of just you going, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Me accidentally hitting people instead of hitting people on purpose.
You know how they do like the joke reel and then the alt line reel? There could also be like a, oh my god, I'm so sorry reel.
Why'd I knock your tooth out? Oh, sorry. It's this style that exists called pentak silat, which is an Indonesian fighting style that the director found because it was very flashy and cool and had a lot of sort of flips and rolls and that kind of thing, and also was like very ruthless and to the point and seemed to be the kind of fighting style that a accountant assassin on the spectrum might use. And so it was just about like rehearsing like you would for any other physical thing, like for dance or whatever, just your moves over and over again, and training and trying to get in the mindset of this martial art.
My training was do it again but harder. Okay.
Tougher.
I was like, I'm sorry. I think there's a very real possibility that Dana is a figment of your imagination
exactly.
in this movie.
My imaginary friend. Couldn't ask for a better imaginary friend than Anna.
So excited for the Batman solo film. What are you most excited for that?
Right now, I'm just excited about trying to get the script right, and being very judicious about it, and making sure that if I do it, I'm gonna do something that I'm really proud of, because it turns out people pay attention to these comic book movies. They
If you could see Batman face off in a dream world against any Batman villain, who would you?
I can't even answer that question, but it's going to be like announcing.
I thought you were going to say like which Batman, like if it was like a parallel universe thing where you like Keaton's Batman.
That would have been an interesting question. I would have answered that one. Too bad we're out of time.
Clooney's Batman.
Thank you. This is wonderful.
One of the themes I liked about this film was it's all about misconceptions, and we all do it. We all judge people, right? So what's the biggest misconception you had about each other before you met each other?
I was looking forward to working with her, strangely, and
believe it or not.
If you can imagine that, because I hadn't
heard the stories. And then you found out.
And that the stories were true.
All right,
it's true what they
take
say.
It easy. Jeez. I don't know. I thought before I met Ben, I thought he was like up on pop culture, and then the first time we met, I was like explaining to him who everyone was in the room. He says this because he didn't have his glasses. I was like,
that's true.
I don't buy that.
People are as varied on the autism spectrum as they are, in the rest of life, that there's no one correct way to do it. I got an email from a friend of mine this morning who said they saw the movie and said that, they really liked it, and as the parents of an autistic child, they'd be thrilled if he turned out to be an assassin.
My mom's an accountant, and she read the script, even though sending it to her, was sort of frowned upon, so I didn't tell anybody until now. And she was also really excited that accountants were getting like a kind of sexy hitman makeover. She was really excited because she's lived her life having the reputation that like her favorite color must be gray, and kind of enduring those jokes.
Do you think accountants everywhere are going to see the film and reacting?
I hope so. If they're not going to see this movie, I don't know what's going to get the accountants from behind their desks.
Between the two of you, who's better at maths?
Well, probably her.
Oh, probably him. It's really embarrassing. I feel like a traitor to my gender being bad at math and being a female. It's really embarrassing.
You really should work on your STEM.
My mom is like super smart, and I didn't get any of that. Real thicky right here. Everyone who read the script had the experience of being really excited by how unique it was and how smart it was. And we have all read a lot of scripts, and it's exciting when you find one that stays a step ahead of you as you go.
Okay.
I think it was its originality, and probably it's the things that helped it work. You know, it's something new, it's different, it's kind of exciting and smart and surprising and fun.
Who are you?
He gets brought in for jobs where they don't want to report to anyone what they're up to. He gets brought in to look at the books at this company where this one pesky employee has discovered some accounting discrepancies.
You know, like finding things that aren't obvious.
He gets brought in to look at the books of that company with her and finds that nothing is as it seems.
Working with Ben
Thank you.
was so
Finally.
rewarding.
All day.
I was
Finally just something nice to... Jesus.
Is that sarcasm?
Just to be able to do your job surrounded by incredibly talented people is a privilege, so I feel greedy when I ask for more than that.
I want it to be about an individual who's on the autism spectrum, but who is his own person as well, and not easily labeled or defined. So we did a lot of research and met with a lot of people and tried to exercise as much sensitivity and care as I could. It's about celebrating our differences. You know, it's hard. Usually, not all movies have that sort of kind of coda or something, but this actually does sort of suggest that, different doesn't have to be bad. The duality plays out pretty obviously in my character's case, because on the one hand, he's quite sensitive and thoughtful and, cerebral with math, and then on the other hand, he's got this very physical, brutal side to him from, the sort of training that his father put him through. Rather than like a superpower or a sense of victimhood, it's just a character attribute, that's interesting and multifaceted, and it's part of who the guy is. And I didn't want that to be the defining factor of who he was, just being autistic, because no one's just autistic. They're who they are, and and they may exist on the spectrum somewhere, but the identity is always first.
Do you think accountants everywhere will be more happy with their profession, fantasizing about what it could be?
I hope so.
I hope we inspire a lot of mild-mannered accountants to, get
life of crime.
Just like,
Yes.
life of crime, moral code.
Exactly.
How good are both of you at numbers, and will you ever see accountants the same way again?
I am not good with numbers at all. My mom is a total math whiz, and I didn't get any of that, which is very disappointing. But she is an accountant, so I already have a pretty clear picture in my mind of what an accountant is. And I think I will probably still picture my mom always when I think of accountants, even though this
Her
movie
mom
has
is a
changed
killer.
everything
She's an
forever.
assassin.
Yes.
Yes, interesting.
Yeah.
Black work.
She is
Black
lethal.
ops, yeah.
She has, a few guns in her backyard. What about you? Will you ever see your accountant the same way? Did you tell him about the film, and was he an inspiration in
I
any
think
way?
my accountant was looking for, I was excited to finally see if there was a heroic portrayal of someone in his line of work. He's already been my hero. He's my hero, and he calls me up and tells me, what I shouldn't buy. So that anytime I want to buy anything, he's like, let's not do that. Yeah. That's my accountant. But
You're only going to be working a couple more years. Let's be
exactly.
realistic.
Let's be honest.
Okay, Ben.
Save. Hold. So that's his name is Gary, and he's great. He's a very good guy and a good friend.
And he doesn't have Pollux in his trailer.
I don't know. He might.
Yeah,
he
might.
probably has gold bricks and machine guns and all kinds of stuff. I just don't. All I ever do is talk to him on the phone, so I don't know.
Was the fact that art is a part of this film and mathematics and history also part of the appeal, because you kind of dive into the whole history of those people and how the art came about?
Yeah, there was just a lot to work with in the script, and a lot of ideas and stuff that I hadn't seen before that was original. Just being not a sequel and not based on a previously known IP, and then all of a sudden, opening up the chance to play in a lot of different ways, and the characters and the story was about, included mathematicians and artists and using music in an interesting way. It was fun. It was a very original experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it was also kind of a page turner. I kind of watched the movie and enjoyed it for the entertainment aspect of it because you didn't know what to expect. Was it the same when you read the script, or did it have this fascinating aspect to it?
Yeah, I mean, completely. I had that experience, which I think is always an exciting one when you get a script where you finish it and you immediately start over again, because once you know everyone's motivations and kind of who's playing which sides, it's so much more interesting to watch the behavior of characters in scenes and how they are subtly trying to get what they want out of people. It's kind of more fun the second time you read it, and for me it was more fun the second time I saw the movie. I should have remembered everything, but it had been like a year. So, in my defense, the second time I watched the movie was better.
Well, tell us about the Indonesian martial arts and did you really learn it to the letter?
Yeah, I tried to learn and talks a lot. It's this Indonesian martial art form that Gavin selected because it kind of matched up with the sort of simple, ruthless efficiency of the character, and also because it was you hadn't seen it much in movies, and it's very cinematic and it looks sexy, so it sort of checked all the boxes, and I had to, once I wasn't going to become a black belt overnight, but I had to do my best and try to train as hard as I could and rehearse the fights as well as I could, and it becomes kind of like rehearsing for a dance. You step here, they step there, and you've kind of figured that stuff out and memorize it. And I'm not great at it, but the fight guys were good, and they did a good job of fooling people.
Did it impress your children as much as the Batman costume?
My kids, yeah, they didn't. They actually, they weren't that impressed. No, my kids are very jaded. They're very hard to impress. And it's certainly hard for me to impress. Other people do, minor things, and they're like, "Oh my God, look at that water came out of that machine." If I could, turn water into wine, they'd be like, "Just go, Dad."